Under the eternal sun that hovered over the desert, the ancient Egyptians believed that every ray of light was the reflection of a god watching humanity. And in the shadows between the dunes, where the wind whispered stories that had crossed millennia, rose the most fascinating pantheon the world had ever known. A constellation of deities who shaped the destiny of men, governed the cosmos, and fought among themselves for the balance of existence. But what almost no one knows is that behind the golden glory of the pharaohs and the serenity of the pyramids, there was a universe of conflicts, fragile alliances, and secrets powerful enough to change the very course of creation. Among gods who could love like humans and hate like storms, a single gesture could mean the downfall of an empire or its rebirth. And among so many divine voices, one story rises above all others: the saga of the gods of Egypt, who fought not only for power, but for the very essence of life and death. In the stone temples carved with symbols that survived the centuries, hints of a silent dispute appear, one almost forgotten by modern memory. Like a murmur trapped between colossal pillars, the truth echoes. Nothing in the Egyptian pantheon was static. Every god carried an ambition, a secret purpose, a dilemma capable of altering the cosmic order. What seemed like just another statue on the banks of the Nile was in truth an ancient force capable of both protecting and destroying. And it is into this labyrinth of power and mystery that you are about to enter. Before we continue this journey through divine realms, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It shows that you want more epic voyages like this and helps these stories reach others who, like you, love diving into the past. Ancient Egypt flourished along a river that obeyed no human rules. The Nile rose and fell in its own rhythm, creating fertile lands, sustaining entire cities, and shaping a civilization obsessed with order and the continuity of life. Every year when the waters rose, the people believed Hapi, the god of the Nile, was offering abundance. In times of drought, they feared he had been offended. In this grand setting, surrounded by deserts that seemed like natural walls, emerged a deeply religious society, where every movement of the sun was a divine message, every shadow a warning, every storm a judgment. Few realized that a great narrative was being quietly constructed over the centuries, a narrative that intertwined politics, spirituality, and the human need to understand the unknown. It was as though Egypt itself had been prepared for the birth of so many deities, each responsible for maintaining the fragile balance that separated order from chaos. In this vast setting lived the oldest and most powerful of the gods, Ra, the sun that crossed the sky in his celestial boat each day, battling the serpent Apep that tried to devour him in the darkness of night. They imagined him as an old sage, tired yet unwavering, guiding the cosmos with his light. And on one silent twilight, as he sailed through celestial waters, Ra whispered to the wind, "As long as I shine, nothing will fall into darkness." But even the sun knew the weight of doubt. He sensed that his reign would not last forever. On the other side of the kingdom, walking through the lands where life blossomed, was Isis, the goddess of magic, wife of Osiris. Her eyes watched the world with compassion, yet sadness lingered in her silence. She sensed something terrible approaching, something that could tear apart the threads of destiny itself. Her husband, the wise and just Osiris, king of the living, believed humanity was ready for a new age of prosperity. But in the shadows, his brother Set, watched every gesture with a hard, impatient gaze. "My brother is not fit to rule," he muttered as the wind stirred the sand into uneasy spirals. Tension grew with every cycle of the sun. Set was unpredictable, violent as desert storms. His jealousy wasn't only about power, but about feeling forgotten, ignored by a people who worshipped Osiris and Isis with fervor. Some priests suspected he was planning something, but none could prove it. Set walked alone, like a silent predator, while temples trembled with prayers. And what no one knew is that he had already made his decision, a single choice, but one that would come with a terrible price. The blow came during a banquet where laughter filled the palace halls. Set presented a magnificent sarcophagus, promising it to whoever fit perfectly inside. Osiris, innocent and trusting, lay down within its golden walls. In an instant, the lid was sealed, and the air filled with muffled screams. Set had taken his place, and Egypt would never be the same. Isis wept as she ran along the banks of the Nile searching for the lost body of her husband, while Set claimed the throne with an iron fist. And amid the despair, a child grew in secret. Horus, son of Osiris, trained by her mother and the gods to face his uncle and restore order. On cold nights, Isis whispered to her son, "You do not fight only for your father, you fight for everything that exists." And Horus tightened his fists, feeling the weight of destiny settle on his shoulders. The climax of this saga came when uncle and nephew met in the desert under a violently red sky. Sand rose in dense clouds as the two advanced toward each other. Set roared like a storm, striking with brutal force, while Horus moved with the precision of a falcon. The air vibrated with divine energy. Each impact sounded like thunder echoing through the ages. When Set, in a final desperate move, lunged to bring the boy down, Horus dodged, seized his opponent by the chest, and declared, "Order is reborn today." His final blow sliced through the wind like an invisible blade, ending a dispute that had divided the cosmos. From that day on, nothing would ever be the same. Osiris became the god of the dead, ruling the underworld with justice. Horus ascended the throne of the living, forever symbolized by the all-seeing eye. Set, defeated, gained an uncomfortable yet necessary role. Guardian of storms, a force that destroys but also renews. And Ra continued his eternal journey across the sky, now protected by new allies. Egyptian chroniclers recorded this moment as the true consolidation of divine order. And even today, scholars debate whether this saga is merely mythology or if it echoes real conflicts reflected in the myths as metaphors of power and survival. The Egyptian pantheon became a symbol of balance, inner struggle, and resilience in the face of chaos. The story of these gods reminds us that even in the modern world, we still seek our own forms of order, meaning, and light. Because just as the ancient Egyptians looked to the sky for answers, you too have probably felt that something greater guides the path. If you want to keep traveling through stories like this, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It shows that you want more epic voyages like this and helps these stories reach others who, like you, love diving into the past.